Have you ever stopped to consider just how much money you're spending on gaming? It's a question that's becoming increasingly relevant as gaming shifts from a one-time purchase to a persistent investment. The digital landscape is evolving, and it's not just about buying a game anymore. It's about in-game purchases, expansions, subscriptions, and more. So, how did we get here? What changed in the gaming industry that transformed our gaming experience into a continuous cash flow? Let's dive into the evolution of gaming monetization. To understand how we got here, we need to journey back to when games were simple and monetization was just a twinkle in developers' eyes. In the early days of gaming, things were straightforward. You'd walk into a store, lay down your cash, and walk out with a game. That was it. No hidden costs, no extra downloads, just pure unadulterated gaming. But as the gaming industry grew, developers started looking for ways to extend the life of their games and, let's be honest, make a bit more money. Enter the era of expansion packs. These were additional pieces of content that could be purchased to expand the original game. They offered new levels, characters, or storylines, giving players a reason to return to their favorite games even after they'd finished the main campaign. Around the same time, we also saw the introduction of downloadable content, or DLC. This was a similar concept to expansion packs but delivered digitally, often including smaller pieces of content like new weapons or costumes. It was a way for developers to keep players engaged and, crucially, spending money. But this was a far cry from the monetization models we see today. Expansion packs and DLC were optional extras, and gamers could still enjoy the full game without them. But this was just the beginning, and the gaming industry was about to change dramatically. As the internet became ubiquitous, developers found new ways to monetize their games. One of these methods was the introduction of microtransactions. This new form of gaming monetization was a game changer, no pun intended. Microtransactions are small, in-game purchases that players can make to enhance their gaming experience. They can include anything from cosmetic items like new outfits for characters, to gameplay advantages like power-ups or additional lives. While these purchases may seem small on their own, they quickly add up, becoming a significant source of revenue for game developers. The rise of the internet played a crucial role in the proliferation of microtransactions. With the internet, developers could now connect with their players like never before. They could offer new content, updates, and yes, microtransactions with just a few clicks. The advent of microtransactions marked a shift in how games were monetized. Before, developers made most of their money from selling the game itself. But with microtransactions, they could continue to earn revenue long after the game was sold. This change made games more profitable, and it also made them more accessible. Players could now try out games for free and only pay for the features they wanted. But it wasn't all rosy. The rise of microtransactions also brought with it some controversy. Critics argued that they created a pay-to-win culture where players with more money had an unfair advantage. They also claimed that microtransactions could be addictive, leading players to spend more than they could afford. Despite these criticisms, microtransactions have become a mainstay in the gaming industry. They've allowed developers to create richer, more engaging games. They've also given players more freedom to customize their gaming experience. So, we've seen how the gaming industry has evolved from selling games outright to offering downloadable content to the rise of microtransactions. It's been a wild ride, and it's not over yet. And then, just as we were getting used to microtransactions, the gaming industry threw us another curveball. In recent years, the gaming industry has shifted towards a model that some argue is even more financially draining for gamers. This shift has been marked by the rise of loot boxes and battle passes, two forms of monetization that have rapidly become the norm. Loot boxes, essentially virtual grab bags filled with random in-game items, have proven incredibly profitable for game developers. Gamers, enticed by the potential for rare and powerful items, spend real-world money on these digital boxes, not knowing what they'll get until they've already paid. It's a system that's often compared to gambling, and not without reason. The thrill of the unknown, the tantalizing possibility of a big win, these are the same hooks that casinos have used for centuries. Similarly, battle passes have become another staple in the gaming industry. These are essentially season passes that gamers buy to gain access to exclusive content over a certain period of time. The content, which often includes unique character skins, emotes, and other cosmetic items, is typically unlocked through gameplay, but the catch? You have to keep playing and often keep spending to get the most out of your pass. These methods of monetization have faced considerable backlash. Gamers argue that they've turned what should be a one-time purchase into an ongoing expense. While regulators in many countries have raised concerns about the potential for gambling addiction, in fact, some countries have even gone as far as to ban loot boxes altogether, citing their similarity to gambling. Yet, despite the controversy, loot boxes and battle passes remain widespread. They're profitable, they're popular, and they're part of a trend towards games as a service, where the initial purchase is just the beginning of a long-term revenue stream for developers. So we find ourselves in a world where gaming is more expensive than ever before. But what does this mean for the future of gaming? As we look to the future, we can't help but wonder, what's next for gaming monetization? As we stride into a digital age that's more connected than ever, the landscape of gaming monetization is set to change dramatically. One trend we're already seeing is the rise of subscription services. Companies are transforming the way we play games, offering access to vast libraries of games for a monthly fee. It's like the Netflix of gaming. But what does this mean for gamers? On one hand, it could offer more variety, more games at our fingertips. On the other hand, it could mean a constant expense, a never-ending subscription. And with so many subscription services popping up, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to feel the pinch in your wallet. Only time will tell how these trends will evolve. One thing is certain though, gaming has become a costly hobby, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon.